Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the REDX podcast. I'm your host, Haley Johnson. Happy Monday, everybody. Today, we have a wonderful guest. We have Jay Berube with us today. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Ellie.
Thanks for being with us today. We have a lot of exciting stuff we're going to talk about, very prevalent information in what's happening in the market today. So I'm excited to get started. But first, Jay, for those who don't know you, could you just give us a brief introduction, who you are, what you do, stuff like that?
Sure. I've been in real estate and property management for 15 years, sold over 1,400 homes and managed over 3,000 properties. Last few years, I've been doing a lot of real estate coaching, digital marketing, and working on growing a property management company. So I'm big on scripts and sales and marketing.
Awesome. Then this is the place to be today. So I'm excited to get into it. Just to our audience watching live, if you have any questions for Jay today, be sure to put them into the chats. And if you're on Facebook, our website, wherever you are, and those will get relayed to me so that we can ask Jay all of your questions. And for those who are watching it afterwards, we'll have time codes and resources all listed below so that you can get everything that is said in this podcast today. So just to get started, Jay, very hot topic, and we were talking a little bit pre-show about this, but everywhere it seems like it's pretty hot market right now, almost too hot, to the point where agents are struggling with low inventory, right? I'm seeing that everywhere on Facebook groups, and a lot of realtors are just talking about this low inventory, the shortage of houses in the market. So what are your thoughts? What do you think about that?
Sure. So the first thing that I'm going to say is that the number one in your business plan, because if you have low inventory and you have a buyer who's looking for a property, then you start doing your circle prospecting and you let people know that you have a buyer who's looking for a home like theirs. And then you start getting listings, and then you just start doing the activities that are meant to generate you revenue. So that's the absolute best way to solve that problem, but we're not done there.
Okay, circle prospecting, first thing. What's next?
Well, no, that's actually the thing that I'm mentioning to cure low inventory. But if we just ended the podcast there, that'd be kind of boring, correct?
Yeah.
So let me get into what I think low inventory actually does, and then you can give me your take on this, and we can hear from the listeners. But low inventory is a problem that causes real estate agents complacency. So it's not exactly what the problem that we think it is for us, because, you know, if we have low inventory, we can't sell as many houses. Like, this is the perception we get in our minds. But it actually causes complacency in real estate agents, because the business comes to us quickly. But then what are we going to do as the market shifts and prepare to actually run a successful business 1, 2, or 3 years down the road, which a lot of times we're not thinking that way because we're trying to solve the short-term problem.
Yeah. I think that's very common for people to think, especially with prospectors who are getting on the phone. They want now business. They just want to get it done, over with. And with this low inventory, I think, like what you talked about with circle prospecting, it's interesting because you'd think there is great opportunity right now, right? That the market is hot. Like, I call someone and say, listen, you could get your house sold in like a few days, which here in Utah, they're sold in just like 72 hours for more money than you would once the market does shift or whatever happens in the future, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And the problems that low inventory causes the real estate market in general is that, you know, we have buyers racing to buy properties.
Yeah.
Okay. And that causes overinflated pricing. We also have sellers that do they get more realistic expectations, or do they get less realistic when they're trying to outprice their property from the market and get every single penny they can? They get less realistic.
Right.
And then we have the low barriers of entry to get your real estate license. In most states, it's somewhere around 60 hours. You need a high school diploma, and then boom, boom, right? You can sell somebody's most valuable asset. Congratulations. So a lot of times this causes us real estate agents, when we get in the business, happened with me, we get this overinflated ego. Like we think that we can do anything because we can do this activity at a high level. But the problem is then we have a customer perception that they don't need a real estate agent. You know, they feel that they know as much as they can about, as much as they need to know about real estate. So then that affects us moving into another market as well as we shift. So yeah. I started looking and encouraging agents to, like, yes, let's solve the short-term problem, but let's also start building you a long-term plan. Because if not, then you're going to be one of the 47% of real estate agents that are going to be out of business in the next 3 years, because this happens, right?
Yeah. Are there more people getting into the business right now just because the market is so hot?
There's not, it's not like we have a flood of agents right now, but over the past couple of years, yeah, we've seen a huge influx of real estate agents coming in the market because it's pretty damn easy to sell a house. Yeah,
especially right now with the hot market, like you said. So it's not always going to be this way, right? Like you're saying. And the short-term wealth, you could call it, or whatever, is great for right now. But like you said, 47% of agents, where is that number coming from?
The last time that we had a downturn in the real estate market, that's what we saw. And
wow.
all of the experts are predicting the next shift that we have is going to be closer to a depression, because of different market indicators that we're seeing. Unemployment rates are higher than they've ever been. They were higher than they were in the Great Depression. And there's a lot of other indicators that are showing us that we are going to have a very difficult time in real estate sometime in the near future. Hopefully it's far off.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, we've been having a good ride, so we have to be prepared no matter what we do.
Yeah, I think especially when the pandemic hit back in March or whatever it was, and everyone was panicking, like all the agents that they had enough in their pipeline, they're pretty comfortable, and then the unknown hits and they don't really know what to do. And that's why we even started this podcast, was because agents were scared and didn't know what was going to happen. And it ended up, for a lot of agents, I'm sure, probably left the business already just because of the fear of the unknown and not knowing what to do. So then let's get into that, the long-term wealth, the long-term strategy that you're talking about, so that when things do take a dive, or even just like, because the market will always go up and down, how can you keep that steady business when the market isn't steady?
Sure. So the best way to do it is think about opportunities. And I said this the last time that I was on as well. Understanding, it's just like sales and scripts. Mm-hmm. We have to, and marketing. I mean, we have to understand what the other person is thinking. So, for example, the best expired cold callers ever are the ones who understand what's going on in that person's head, so that you can anticipate those objections, and then you can move forward and you can listen to what the opportunity is. When you're asking questions, you're listening to the answers, you're looking for an opportunity to how you can position yourself as the person who's going to generate that business, who's going to take that listing. But we need to be thinking about our business in way of opportunities as well, but not just short term. Short term is great. So, you folks that, real estate agents, you guys that are listening, that want to increase your business now, you have low inventory in your market, start circle prospecting, right? Start prospecting. If you're not prospecting enough, add hours into your prospecting. Spend more time talking to people, less time doing the easy things that don't necessarily generate us business, right? Mm-hmm. But actually spend the time making calls and talking to people. So do that short-term fix. But long-term, there's a lot of different opportunities that that can be taken advantage of. So one thing I always look at to identify opportunities, but also to just really achieve any goal. Most of the time, what do we try to do when we have a problem, Haley?
Try to solve it.
There you go. We try to solve it. Yeah. So an example of that, right? Because we look for problem solution. Now, if you ask my wife, what to do when you have a problem. Well, if you're me, I have to really listen and identify if it's a problem that she wants solved or if she just wants me to listen about her problem.
Amen.
Right? Yes. See, I don't know that because I don't have like this real strong insight into women's minds. It's like, no, I've just been married a while. So repetition, repetition, repetition,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like prospecting. But that's what we try to do. We try to do problem and solve. But here's the thing. You can't go problem solution, okay? Because that's not the whole story. It's problem, solution, result. So rather, what you need to do is you need to be focused on the result that you're looking for. And the result that my wife is usually looking for is that she wants to feel better, you know, and that's what I want. I want her to feel better. So I have to identify what are the possible solutions to this problem. Is it that I need to try to solve her problem, or is it that I need to listen? So any result that we're looking for, you know, if you want to lose weight, right? You know, some people will think, okay, well, I have this problem. The solution is to eat less food. Well, for some that might be, but it might not be the most effective way to get there. Right. So if you look at the result of what you want, then you have to identify all of the different solutions. And you have to find the best one.
Okay. So relate that to real estate for agents listening right now.
Yeah, exactly. So good point. I like how you tie that all back in. You've been doing this a while. Haley Brockmeyer. That's what they call her.
There
Haley
you go.
So you have result. What is the result? The result is you want to sell 24 homes in the next 12 months. Okay. So what are the possible solutions? Well, one possible solution is that you can focus on generating leads through Facebook. Like that might work, you know. It works for some people, doesn't necessarily work for others. Now, here's proof that we don't look at problem, solution, result, because we have a lot of imposters that come out of the woodwork whenever there's a really strong market that try selling all these different solutions to real estate agents and claiming that it is the best solution out there, right? Yep. Like this is the thing that's going to cure you. Maybe, right? Maybe, but there's a lot of other different solutions. So it's identifying the best solution for you. And for me, I found this a long time ago to generate a significant amount of business and to feed my pipeline and my family for years to come where I don't have to worry about it and I'm recession proof. I position myself as a trusted advisor. And what a trusted advisor does is they ask questions and they listen to the answers and then they present solutions. They don't go in with the end in mind that, you know what, I want this listing. I'm going to get this listing and it's this listing, right? We go into the situation with the approach of what is going to be best for this customer. Let me ask some qualifying questions. Where is it that you're moving to? When are you looking to move? Are you moving with family? Why is it that you're moving, right? And you start digging deeper and you find out. Have you considered renting out the property? You know, what other solutions have you been thinking of? So you're really digging in like a trusted advisor, not just a real estate agent, right? Like in the minds of the average consumer who puts us right up there as one of the top 5 industry professionals to work with, which we're not. Because if you guys are listening to this podcast, you know tried and true that you are awesome and a rock star. And that's what we have to protect ourselves against. And this is why the trusted advisor approach is so important, because you're able to identify the possible solutions for this person. So I would always do it in the way of, are you looking to sell your property or rent it out? And now we have a very large property management brokerage that's in 5 different states. And we've added on the investment piece of that as well. So we have creative options that some people have never heard of. Have you ever heard of the term either master lease or arbitrage, Haley?
No.
Okay, up until 6 months ago, me neither. But we have one of our partners is a chief investment officer. And basically all that means is that instead of someone renting out their property for market rent, they will rent it to us at a lower rental rate. And then we will be able to make the upside from it, but they have that rent consistent no matter what. Doesn't matter if the tenant leaves and goes somewhere else. we still continue paying the rent on that property. And we end up finding the tenants, putting them in there, taking care of it. They have exactly the word you were talking about before, Hales, as soon as we started this, certainty, right? They have certainty because this is a basic human need that we all have.
Yep.
We need to have certainty. What's going to happen in the future? What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen with my property? Right now, property owners have a lot of uncertainty. That's why master lease arbitrage, some people call it, is going to be a very not sought after, because most people don't know about it, but it's going to be a very lucrative piece of our business anyway.
Yeah. Okay. And I really liked your trusted advisor advice there. And I kind of want to ask, so for agents that are listening to you right now and like this, oh, trusted advisor, that sounds great. What is the opposite of that? What does the opposite sound like?
What does it sound like? Oof, God. It sounds like the average agent that, and you guys that are listening are not the average agent, so I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the average agent that doesn't have any business background, or they don't treat their business like a business. They don't really practice. They try something new, and then they start calling expired listings, and they think they know what to say because they read a script that they found on the internet and they don't know how to use it. It's like pulling out a 22 out of your pocket and being like, okay, now I got this. And now all of a sudden you Yosemite Sam. You have to know how to use the tool. So, and that's what script is. It's a tool. So whenever I hear, scripts are bad, I don't like scripts, I'm just like, oh my God, this is an opportunity to educate you, my friend, because a script is such a valuable resource when you know not just what to say, but how to say it, when to say it, and then where to take the conversation as well. It's like a roadmap, Yeah,
it's like, I mean, what you said is you're trying to find people, they have a problem, and you have the result, and you have to figure out the solutions that would be best for them, right? It applies to agents. It also applies to the people that you're talking to. So I really like that problem, solution, result, trusted advisor. Just makes sense.
Yeah, and every single interaction, every single problem that occurs, every team that I lead, anything that happens, it's always problem, solution, result.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, where do we want to get? Let's think about a business plan, right? Even just a 90-day plan. We have a 90-day plan. We need to focus first on what the result is that we want.
Yes.
Because if we don't focus on the result, then how do you know what activities to do in order to get there?
Exactly.
So when you focus on the result, and then you break it down into a few things that you're looking to achieve in that result, then the next piece is identifying the problems that are standing in your way of getting there. And then you identify what those possible solutions are. So I have a pretty easy method of doing that. And it's taken 3 90-day goals.
Okay.
And you break them down into 3. Each one of those has 3 30-day goals, right? So you just break down, and then after that, you just take down what you need to do each week, right? So week 1 is here. So I'm looking at week 1, and I'm like, okay, in order to achieve this in 90 days, I need to do this and this, and I need to do this in the next 30. So here's on my weekly what I'm going to do this week in order to get there. And then at the end of the week, if you didn't do those things, then you're not going to achieve the 90-day goal that you set.
Yeah. So having a plan, it sounds like tracking your numbers, right? How a lot of agents will say, I want this many listings, so I need to have this many appointments. I need to dial this many numbers in order to get to that goal. It's kind of the same thing, right? But different agents want different results, right? Which means there's different solutions. So are you saying you can kind of pick and choose what works best for you and your individual market? Because I know not every market is created equal, or every agent is created equal. So,
you know what? It feels like, to everybody listening right now, that you just teed me up for this, but she didn't. She
I did
didn't.
not.
No, she didn't. So it's not market agnostic. What it is it's the individual agent. So when we merged for our property management company, Home Vault is the name of it, Home Vault Property Management. I'm the chief growth officer. So one of my responsibilities being head of marketing is to really just identify our theme, like our unique value proposition to the market that really separates us from everybody else. Because too many times, well, we work, like, you know, if you're in real estate, well, I work with luxury clients and I sell single family homes. Yeah, we know, like, okay, you really, what is unique? So with that in mind, we went with a superpower theme, because we all have this one thing, Haley, and some people call it a gift, right? I call it a superpower, because there's this one thing that we just love to do, that we would do even if we didn't get paid, that we would do in our business more than anything else if everything else was taken care of. And we all have this unique ability, and we're all made up of different parts. So to have one agent prospect expired listings, or circle prospecting, or door knocking, or Facebook ads, or whatever, is the wrong way to approach it. It's first, you have to identify your superpower, the thing that you are really good at. Don't make excuses and just like say, well, this is hard, so I'm not going to do it. That's not what it is. It's about really finding out which way you are best. And for a lot of agents, that's in the form of working their database, people who know, like, and trust them.
Yeah.
And that is a strong way to build a business. And there's a lot of hesitancy towards outbound prospecting, because we don't want to, right? When I say we, I'm talking about real estates in general. We don't want to sound salesy and scripted, okay? Yep. And we don't want to be begging for business from the people who love us. Yeah, you don't have to do that. You can fuel your superpower, work your database, and still be a rock star that everybody loves.
Wow, I love this, because we actually had a question come in once about someone being an introvert, because they were afraid, because I'm not like all these other agents who can just get out there and they're powerhouse and confident. I'm more reserved, but I want to be successful. So their superpower might not be, oh, I can talk on the phone with strangers and have mad success, but maybe I can do something else, like talk to my friends and family more often, and do this a little bit more than that, because so maximize on your strength. And then that kind of leads into your goals and 90-day plan, like you said, right?
That's right. And let's think about it another way too. So we have different personality styles, you know, and one of those being an analytical. So you have some folks that are just, you know, really strong analyticals. So if you are an analytical, try to do something in your business that you are creating unique, or that's going to create value for somebody else, that really focuses on that detail, whatever that is. Maybe you align yourself with another industry provider that has a lot of analyticals. Maybe it's an accounting firm, right? Or not an accounting firm, but an accounting association. And then maybe you end up starting by becoming a contributor to their industry newsletter. And then all of a sudden, you can help create videos that are going to help their clients. And now you're positioning yourself as the expert to other people who already resonate with you. And now that initial contact to present that opportunity, right? Wait, what do we say? Opportunity? Exactly. It just becomes natural, and you like it. You love what you do.
Yeah, and I hear, like you said earlier, like agents calling their database, or just calling in general, and being afraid that they're going to sound too salesy or whatever. But I feel like if you're doing something that is your strength or your superpower that you love, then it does come more natural, that you won't just be talking to people like a robot. It'll be genuine, and because it's what you like to do.
And now let's throw back the trusted advisor approach into that example.
Yeah.
Now, if I call you, Haley, let's say once a month, and I'm offering you something that you really want, And I'm like, yeah, no strings attached. Like, but I have this like cool thing for you. Maybe it's information, maybe it's money, right? Maybe it's a resource, maybe it's a video that is entertaining. Like, maybe it's something that you want. It's not a recipe on how to bake a pumpkin pie, because that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But it has to be something that is unique to you, right? That matches your superpower, right? It allows you to fuel your superpower, but also something you're communicating to someone else that is value. Every time I call you, right, you're going to be wanting that call. You're going to be like, shit, it's the 22nd of the month. Jay hasn't called me yet. You know, like, what's he going to talk to me about this time? It's so great talking to him. And every time I do, like, there's always something really cool that, like, he either sends me before or after, you know? Like, it's a trusted advisor. But within that, yes, of course, you have to let them know what you do for a living and remind them that you're in the business. It's just part of sales. But you do it in a way to where it's a very soft call to action, rather than like trying to read down a script and just feeling gross about it. Because trust me, I wouldn't be able to do that and feel good about it either if I did not feel like I had unique value to add to somebody's life.
I can't imagine calling people and being kind of slimy about it and not actually believing that you are bringing value. Because I think then your confidence is boosted and you just feel better, and you know that they need you, which makes it your mindset so much better that, oh, I'm actually getting up every day and helping people, right? Instead of, oh, I just got to do this next deal. I got to get to this next listing. I got to do this. So it seems like it fills your life with a lot more purpose, but also it just seems like you'll have a better business because of this.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's another way of saying it that's trending lately is this kind of relates, but it's niche down, you know, like really understand your ideal client. And it's not just anybody with a heartbeat. And it's not just anybody that's looking to buy a house between X amount of dollars and X amount of dollars. It might be, you know, first-time home buyers, you know, it might be people who are retiring, you know, and just knowing and understanding what's going on in that customer's journey of where they are in life is so important. That's why a lot of times if we're a millennial, it's a lot more comfortable and easier for us to sell to millennials. Yeah. Well, when I was in Southwest Florida, which now, you know, I live in Charlotte for the past year, my customer average age was 67 years old. I am not 67 years old, but I sure as hell knew everything that was going on in someone's life right around that age. Like, I could tell you that they cared about hospitals and what type of surgeries that they were typically having or exposed to around then. I could tell you about their families and what some of those problems were happening in their life, you know. But understanding your customer and niche down is very important.
This is basic sales and marketing, right? I work in marketing, so I'm all about my ideal client, the ideal customer, and what they want, and bringing those solutions. So I love it. Understand your client enough to provide value, right?
Yes.
I love it. So for agents that are new into the business, because a lot of our customers are new, and we get questions all the time from them about, like, where do I start? What can I do first? And so if you're trying to find a niche and you don't even know what you would like or what is your ideal client, how do you find that?
Yeah, that's a good question, huh? So the first thing that I wouldn't worry too much as a new agent about your niche yet, right? And I still don't know how to pronounce that. Is that niche or niche?
Niche. I think both.
All right, I'm going with niche, and you went with Berube, the pronunciation of my last name. Kudos to you. Thank you. I know Andrew runs around the office saying Berube, you know.
Yeah.
So one day you're gonna find me in the REDX offices in Utah, right, in the capital of Utah, just trying to find.
Everyone's saying it wrong, Berube. It's fine.
That's right. Here, everywhere.
Yep.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the niche just yet. I would worry, I would focus on first building out that short-term plan, and
Okay.
don't overcomplicate it. But it's important to be focusing on a business. I'm not even going to call it a business plan, but just a business strategy. Okay. So to understand real estate, or really any business, do you have that? Do you have that resource, that PDF? And there's a page in there that says diagnostic. It has a cool little picture in it.
Yeah, I think Andrew can pull that up for everybody to see.
Is Drew still on here?
I see him. He's he's working.
He's creeping in the background.
Yeah, he's pulling that up.
So the first thing is like business strategy, understanding that being in real estate is running a business. Because if you just focus on, you have to identify as a salesperson, of course. Yeah. And when I first got into real estate, I didn't like, for the first 5 years, I was like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. Like, man, I glad I learned that was the wrong way of thinking early on.
Yeah.
But it's not just being a salesperson. It's understanding that real estate is a business, and we have to identify where we are weak and strong in 4 main areas. Okay.
Okay.
And those areas, it'd be really cool if we were able to share that that piece, because then it won't be me just talking about it. But the 4 pieces, I'll just say it first. So it's foundation, right? You have your foundation, which is a lot of the stuff that we don't like talking about, which is your business strategy, your time management, and your mindset, which is terribly important and very underestimated. Many times as real estate agents, we're like, I need more leads. I need more leads, man. You know, like, need more inventory. Like, yeah, I get it. You do. We do. But we also need to have a strong mindset when we're talking to our customers, when we get kicked in the belly because we're riding the real estate roller coaster and we can't find our next deal, or somebody yells at us or swears at us on the phone. Yeah. I mean, like, this happens. Yeah. Sometimes, like, for real, guys, sometimes just getting out of bed in the morning requires a strong mindset. And I'd say a lot of times, it's not a huge secret that I had a period in my life for 12 months where I had a severe depression, and it was really hard to get out of bed. And I learned how to control my mindset, like, over that time when I was getting out of that period. But mindset's huge. So you have your foundation, and then you have your sales piece. Sales is important. In sales, you have, of course, lead generation, lead nurture, and lead conversion. Okay. So nurture, you can call follow up, just depending on if you're making calls or you have marketing campaigns going, or a little bit of both. Then the other part is your delivery, and your delivery consists of the service, right? You have to service your listings, you have to service your transactions, your buyers, and then you have your processes and negotiation. All of this stuff goes into the delivery or fulfillment, if you want to call it that way. And then the last piece, which real estate professionals that really have a strong business, they are in this space most of the time, is the scale. It's the scalability portion. Yeah. And that's where you're going for repeat business, referrals, reviews, all of those pieces. Mm-hmm. So understanding where you are and where you need the most help in those areas, and really being, like, honest with yourself and assessing and knowing that that's part of a business, that's very much the first step. And then you break down an actual short-term plan.
I like it. Andrew did pull that up. I don't think we can see it, but the audience can. So we're good there.
Drew, you punked me. I'm coming after you.
So thanks, Andrew, for the back end help there. So we've got foundation, sales, delivery, and scale. And first, understanding that your business is a business, so treat it like one, right? Where do you think people struggle the most in these aspects?
Yeah, it's like 90% of the time, and I've been coaching agents for a while, and I have a heavy load right now, and most of the calls that we're on, it comes down to foundation, and it's business strategy, because a lot of times it's like, well, what should I do here, and should I focus on this or should I focus on that, and then breaking down those activities in order to get to that next place. That is a lot of times the issue. And then in foundation, the next piece, time management, right? Well, it's very difficult to manage your time when we get in the business because we want to make our own schedule. That's not easy being your own boss and making your own schedule. It's very easy to take a day off because chances are you're probably not going to want to fire yourself. So that's very difficult. So we need accountability around that, and time blocking, time management, especially with prospecting. I mean, for over a decade, just hitting the outbound calls with REDX by my side. Thank you very much. But hitting those outbound calls, that time management was critical. I was sharing with my outbound team today my schedule when I was drilling the phones. Getting in the office at 7 to 7:30, getting my affirmations, getting my head right. Wait, what's that called? Mindset. And then 7:30 to 8, role playing or writing out my scripts. And then 8 o'clock, hitting the phones. But then even later, so like now, if you start calling at 8 o'clock, you're 15 minutes late, at least. You got to be calling earlier than that. Yeah, I know. It's getting tough.
We actually, I mean, you're answering so many questions that we have from the surveys that we put out, because a lot of agents are asking, what is the ideal schedule, first of all, for a successful agent, and how to maximize their time. Like you said, you talked about time management, and also when is the best time to call. So you just answered those two questions. Like, you should be on the phones by 7:45, right? In your experience?
Yeah, 7:45 now. It used to be 8 o'clock. It was really nice and relaxed back then.
Now you just got to be ahead of the game a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes even 7:30, but God, that I never really got to the 7:30 point. But yeah, 7:45, and then 8 to 11, like strictly phones, outbound, expireds, canceled, and old expireds and canceled first. And you hit those until in your lead stack, you hit those until about 9:30 or 10, just depending on how many new ones you have or olds that you haven't called through. Then you can go on to absentee owners. If you prospect that lead source, you can take 30 minutes for follow-up or so. But the important thing is to 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock to block that off as your holy time, that you don't do anything else. Yeah. Well, but my buyer just called me and I have to go let them into their property. It's like, don't answer your phone, okay? Because I'm gonna ask you a quick. Haley, you have kids? No, right?
I don't have kids. No.
No, you're like 19. No, I'm just kidding. That's like, I feel like an old man for saying that. I'm not. So, all right. So I have kids. Now, if I had to pick up my kids every day from school, I have to pick up my kids every day from school.
Yeah, nothing's going to interrupt that.
So exactly. So this is what I ask, agents that say, well, this other thing came in the way. I'm like, well, if you have kids and you have to go pick them up at the end of, at the end of the day, are you going to go let your buyers into a property instead of picking them up? Like, you got to do that thing. Right. So yeah, so you got to do it if you want to make money.
If you want to make money, is that what you said?
If you want to make money, yeah.
I like it.
Because it's simple. It's just not easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And then, well, there'd be a lot lower inventory, I guess.
I like that. Simple, but not easy. Because obviously all these things that are going to make you successful aren't just a walk in the park. However, it is really simple. Like how you put out your 90-day plan. Like, okay, do this and this and this, and you'll be successful, right? Simple. Maybe not easy, but simple.
Yes, that is it. It is. And step by step, it's like, I need to have things for me. I need things broken down like I'm a fourth grader, for real. It's like, talk to me like I don't know anything, because I have smart friends and they try explaining some things to me that I don't understand. And I'm like, no, really dumb it down and make it super simple. So that's my approach whenever I'm creating scripts or script roadmaps, or I'm such a geek. I actually really love creating scripts, because for the property management company for Home Vault, I didn't know that this was going to be a problem that we needed to solve, right? Problem, solution. But having the correct messaging, because we have 800 properties that we manage in 5 different states, and we have, wait for it, 37 remote team members. And baby, I'm talking about Nicaragua, Romania. My director of marketing is from Romania. We have Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, like shout out Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Jamaica, right? If I'm missing out on any where you guys are from, like, sorry. But those folks, right? We have all of these team members, and they're all dealing with our clients every single day, because property management is not transactional. Yeah. It's relational, because we have to work with owners, like landlords, and tenants, right? Not just like one client, but we have landlords and tenants every month for the average lease term occupancy of 3.5 years. So we really have to have a relationship, or else it is going to be a nightmare with that client. They're going to hate us. So the problem that I didn't realize we had to solve was getting our messaging down, like getting our messaging down to the point to where our team internally that is working in maintenance, in leasing, right, in tenant relations, owner relations, it's important for them to know how to answer a question, but how to ask additional questions, and then how to lead the conversation, and how to understand how scripts work. No other companies do this at a high level with understanding sales with their internal team members. Yeah. But I made it a habit of doing that because I want them to feel good about how they're communicating with our clients. Yeah. So anyway, I wrote, like, I'm writing all these process scripts internally for our company, and like, I get a lot of joy out of it.
That's awesome. But it goes back to like understanding your client and marketing and then messaging towards that client or your ideal client, like we were talking about earlier as well. Problem, solution, result.
And any agent, any of you guys that are listening to this or watching this, you can do all of these things. You can utilize a script and make it highly effective. You can prospect, whether you're prospecting for Circle, Force of My Owner, Expired, database, like absentee, whatever. I mean, I can just like 55 different prospecting types. And we can find more, because I'll probably enjoy that too. But you can do all of those things and have it feel good. You can have it feel good. You just have to do it the right way, have a little bit of a plan, and start taking baby steps. Because there's this other thing, right? We think that if we have the awareness that we have a problem, right? And maybe it's that we need education. So we can have awareness. Well, you know what? Shit, I really need to get better at using scripts, let's say. Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna buy this book. Or I'm gonna take this course. And that's gonna help me get better, right? So we think awareness and knowledge, right? Awareness, knowledge, education, whatever you want to call it. We think that's it. That's the equation, but it's not. You need awareness, knowledge, and then this is the most important one that a lot of us don't want to do for one reason or another: action.
Oh,
Gotta take action, baby. Yeah. You gotta use it. You gotta practice it, because you spend all of that time doing the other stuff. Yeah. Being aware, having the stomach aches because you're aware of this problem and you're scared and you don't want to get the education or the training because that hurts, you know, financially or emotionally, or maybe it's not something you're used to and you have to shift your mindset. But then if you don't take action on it, you just wasted all of that. So do yourself, honor yourself. And when you feel like you get some good training, take action on it, because that's what's going to make you the big money.
That's why it's important for agents that watch or listen to these podcasts, because this is a lot of education and knowledge. If they are listening, like we have some people that come on every single podcast to listen to the guests that we have, but if they're not taking anything from it, and if they're not like you said, taking action on the things that they're learning, then there's no point. All they're doing is wasting their time, right?
Yeah. It's good to get the education, but you also have to, a lot of times it's, there's the two fears that just overrun everything in our, wait for it, mindset, right? Is the fear of failure and the fear of rejection.
Oh yeah.
Those two fears like just stop us from doing so much that we can do in life. So we feel like, okay, we get all that education and I'm doing it. Wow, I'm doing a great job. And you feel good. You feel good for a little bit. Yeah. But then, you just don't take that extra step because you're afraid. So taking risks are very important in business. My wife said to me, God, this was like 4 years ago, and it was so impactful. It changed my life and it changed hers. And I didn't know if it was a good change for a long time because it was like a really hard one. But I was at a conference and they said, okay, call somebody who knows you really well in business and ask them 2 questions. And I was like, oh, wow, this sounds like fun, right? Ask them what you don't do well enough, right? And what you don't do enough of. And then in business, and those things are holding you back. So my wife's answer, because I called her, I trust her, I love her. And so Jess, if you're watching this, so she said, Jay, you don't take, and this blew my mind. She said, Jay, you don't take enough risks and you don't take big enough risk. And I'm like, she said risk twice. I'm like, man, that is
wow.
Yeah. So after that, like I started like jumping off buildings in business. Like it was crazy. And it was scary, but it was those things that, God, all of the pain that it put me through, shifting my business in a massive way, going from selling 100 homes a year by myself, right, to 80% of the people who I sold their properties, I had never met them face to face. Like I was really good at what I do. I'm good at what I do. Like when you're good at what you do, it feels good to say it. It's not bragging. It's just
right.
You know what your strong suits are. You know what you're not great at.
Yeah.
But I knew that for me, there was something more. So to go from doing that at a high level to switching into a world of marketing, scaling a business, helping other agents and property managers scale their business, teaching a trusted advisor approach and like all of the necessary things. It was a completely different business model. Like that was really scary for a couple of years.
Wow. So, I mean, and you asked your wife, who obviously wants you to be successful and loves you, right? I'm not going to go ask some stranger what they think I should be better at, or someone that hates you or anything like that. You ask someone that you trust what you could be better at or what you're not good enough at or whatever. And that just like, it's kind of like that book Rejection Proof, where that person went out and sought rejection. He just wanted to be rejected so that he wouldn't just be so afraid of it anymore. So that reminds me of it, because you're going out and you're like, okay, what am I not good at? And then letting someone tell you that, which is terrifying. But like you said, it seemed like that was the catalyst for you to be successful and to really scale your business, right?
Yeah, that was the beginning of that journey. And my journey and the shift that I made really into the marketing and coaching side and just building something that was much bigger. Yeah. That had a lot of risk involved. I mean, like, no joke. I had prepaid college funds for my 2 kids. They're 7, and I cashed in their college funds. I borrowed $100,000. I shouldn't say the number, but I borrowed a lot of money. Well, I already said it, from my retirement, right? Like, there's money that I have to pay back on a monthly basis. I went from selling 100 homes a year personally to, when you don't have time to like sell homes yourself anymore, you're not selling 100 homes a year. So that opportunity cost went down, and I wasn't making money at a high level because I was spending literally like hundreds of thousands of dollars to get educated and massively immersed into this whole new world that I needed to get good at, and I was determined to get good at. So it was very painful for a while. And then you just look for those little wins to help your mindset. And guys, you're listening, you're watching to this, you can relate, because when you got into real estate, it was kind of like that, wasn't it? I mean, it's a risk going into something. It's like, well, should I leave that other job that I'm doing right now? Or should I like have it as my side hustle while I'm doing real estate? Or what should I do? Because it's scary. And I'm not going to answer that for you, because it depends on you and your world. But just be honest with yourself.
And be willing to take risks. I like it.
Yeah.
So we're out of time here, Jay, but I just want to give you a second really quick. I know that went really fast. Because I know we talked pre-show about you have tons of free resources for agents. So I'll give you your plug right now if you have a website that people can go and get all of this information from. And then any final thoughts that you have.
Yeah, cool. So first thought is like, can we just like start over the whole thing? Like, it's live, is it? No,
it's definitely live.
So like something really cool is I took a lot of my training and resources that I charge for, and with this journey of home vault property management and the goals that we have, we wanted to give back, as knowing real estate agents and property managers, and knowing how property managers are able to run their business more like a business, because that's what you have to do. I wanted to be able to give back the training and the resources that I have, and then also create a symbiotic relationship between property managers and real estate agents, letting real estate agents know that property managers, they will pay you referral fees. They will protect you on the sale, right? And refer that customer back to you. They will help keep that customer warm. And if you have a good property management company, they will make you look good. So communicating those pieces, but then also at the same time giving really rock star training, videos, script books. My script books are in there as well. I created a free site for real estate agents, and it's an app. And it's got all those free resources on there. You don't owe me anything. You can just go to it, and it's got all those resources on there. And it's www. I don't know why we still have to say that. It's roadmapre.com. So just go to roadmapre.com. And there's an investor calculator for if you're out with a buyer who's looking to invest. They can in less than 60 seconds plug in what those numbers are going to be for a turn. It's a virtual listing presentation, which is awesome. All you got to do is plug and play. I'm really proud of this stuff, if you can't tell.
Passionate, I love it.
So yeah, go to that and get yourself educated. It's a bunch of free training, guys. For real, you'll love it.
Awesome. Definitely take advantage of that. It's free. So I love it. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in again to the REDX podcast. This has been such a great and quick 55 minutes or so. So thank you so much, Jay. I know you're busy, so thank you for spending time with us today to help other real estate agents be successful. For everyone watching, if you want to continue conversations like this, there are two places that you can go. You can go to our REDX forum if you're a customer and talk to other REDX customers about all the things that we're talking about. And also our Facebook page, you can go on to REDX Elite Prospectors Group. And that's a good resource to talk to people as well. And we will see you guys Wednesday again at 1:30 Mountain Time. We have Ricky Caruth coming and chatting with us on Wednesday. So we're excited about that. But again, thank you, Jay. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.